of Love in Store. I am very much happy. Some disturbances.
I will request the audience to please mute themselves because we have formally started the session. Thank you.
I am very much delighted to introduce Mr. Aditya Goyal, an IIFT 2013 graduate, previously worked in RB and GCPL. Aditya is a visiting faculty at IIFT and IMI for sales and distribution. His venture, Love in Store, is winner of PNG Startup Challenge 2018 Business World Takers Award 2020, Indian Achievers Forum Most Promising Startup Award 2020. Love in Store is a people take and payments company that helps FMCG organizations automate and organize in store execution, key customer communication, and key customer direct benefit transfer. Next. There is any other slide next? No. So now with this, we find that he is such a qualified Indian Institute of Foreign Trade 2013, such a prestigious institute of Government of India situated very nearer to our campus, that is institutional area, Kutab institutional area. And it is an institute of international repute, and he has passed out from that. And I'm very happy that he is going to give a lecture on B2B, that is business to business marketing. That is, it means the end product of one business house becomes the initial product of the another business house. That is the concept of B2B. And for example, if Tata Steel is manufacturing steel and Godrej is purchasing steels to manufacture its own products, then Tata Steel's B2B business is Tata Steel to Godrej. This type of, I can cite the example. So I hope our participants will enjoy. This is a good set of good area of knowledge which our participants will listen from Mr. Aditya Goyal. So thank you, Mr. Aditya Goyal. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sahu. Thank you, Raji ma'am. I'm glad to be back. I was here last year. All participants, I'm of course not a faculty. I'm an entrepreneur. Graduated from IFT about 7 years back, and in 7 years I worked in FMCG for about 4 years, and after that I started my company Love in Store. A lot of people ask us that why you called Love in Store, so I always tell them that we want to make a Tinder competitor but didn't succeed, so we ended up in B2B technology. Happy to answer any questions. Feel free to unmute yourself, speak to me at any point in time. What I want to do is that because my business is a bit specific in a sector and it is purely B2B, I wanted to talk a bit about how we found the opportunity and how what exactly do we guys do. I'm sure that will give you a lot of questions and which will be interesting. So I think let's get the elephant out of the way, right? So of course COVID is a very recent phenomenon of the last 6 odd months, and something very interesting that happened in COVID is that a lot of us started shopping again from our neighborhood kirana. So, there was a decent shift to the modern trade and bigger channels and all of that. And then COVID had effects on two things pretty massively. One was e-commerce and second was kirana. And my business is literally built around the neighborhood kirana store, right? The idea is that still 93% of India walks to the neighborhood kirana or the pharmacy store and buys their consumables, medicines, products from there. And we are sort of helping FMCGs connect with these stores better. That is literally the one-line idea of the organization. I have a PowerPoint which I'm of course going to take you through. Please feel free to unmute yourself, raise your hand, or just ask a question when you want. So my company is called Love in Store. Any guesses on what this is? This is one of my favorite ways to introduce myself. 90, 80, 70, 60. A lot of people say this is my phone number. No, so actually this is my 10th, 12th engineering and MBA marks. So that's why I have an X after that, that, my parents told me don't study after this. I think it's not really going in the right direction. My profile, of course, sir has introduced already. So I'm an MBA, IFT, GCPL is Godrej Consumer. They make Synthol, Hit, Goodnight. And then Reckitt is Harpic, Dettol. We worked there. And Jan 2017, we were live. So it's going to be about 4 years in January. We are now a 1,500 people company that works in the top 85 cities in India. Headquartered in Gurgaon with regional offices in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Mumbai. Me and one more founder, Nishit, have been running it, and we continue to play executive roles in the company as of today. Right. Some joke, of course. Okay, let me talk about the FMCG industry. That's something very close to us, right? So FMCG industry is the 4th largest sector in the Indian economy. It's estimated to reach $1.1 trillion by 2020 and growth rate of 5 to 6%. What has been very interesting is that one sector which everybody calls bellwether, ऐसा कोई sector, which is not affected by COVID or any external factors, actually FMCG. The reason is that consumption cannot stop, right? As a consumer, you will not stop using a toothpaste or a hair oil or a face wash or something like that. What you may do is you may be judicious about it, but you sort of will not stop consuming it. Having said that, the interesting part is that in India, household, personal care, healthcare, and food and beverage are the 3 largest sectors. Now, even if you look at the split, right, household and personal care and healthcare, you cannot stop consuming it, right? It's not possible for any one of us to tomorrow get up and say, okay, there is a salary cut because of COVID, or my business is not doing well, I'm not making enough money, I'm going to stop using hair oil, right? There could be a cut, obviously, in your food and beverage consumption, juice, Pepsi, Coke, etc., because they are, sort of non-judicious spends. But end of the day, it'll always going to be, let me consume what I'm regularly consuming. Second interesting chart here, which is the FMCG market share. So 40% is urban, 60% is rural. So one of the few sectors where primarily on account of population, rural continues to contribute more. Interestingly, as you would have also seen in the news, outlets in the last few months, that rural has actually grown in consumption in the last 5 to 6 months. Reason primarily is the reverse migration that we've seen across. Okay. How did you find the opportunity? So very interesting fact here that out of the 10 million Kirana stores in the country, 30,000 stores contribute to 40% of the business. 10 million is 1 crore. So India has 1 crore Kirana stores, which is actually 30% of the world Kirana stores. So we actually have a 1/3 of the world's Kirana stores. Out of that 1 crore, there are only 30,000 stores that contribute to 40% of the business. Now, why this number is important is 1 crore is huge, right? But 30,000 is not, because end of the day, these 30,000 are located across the top 80 to 90 cities of India. They are located in the, I would say, more populated locations or locations which have relatively maybe higher income densities and where people are consuming better. Now, for each and every FMCG, how this becomes significant is that when the consumer goes to this Kirana store to buy something, at that point in time, how do you create a stimulus for them to buy, right? And that is exactly what we do as a business. Now, I would like to get your attention towards this slide, right? Left and right, can you see some of this this hanger is here. There is a branding here, Tata Tea, Tetley Green. There's a branding on this side as well, right? This is what we do, right? We are the company that, of course, there's a lot of things that we do, but the end product that we're able to deliver to organizations is basically a merchandise shelf across the top 30,000 groceries in India. A lot of you will say that, how is this a business? So you will be very interested to know that merchandising or visual merchandising is one of the key factors that affects consumer purchase decisions. And why that affects it is, because as a consumer, you will see the ad on television or on social media, or somebody's going to tell you about it. But when you reach the store, because there is so much to see, there is something eye-catching that will catch your eye, which will make you sort of end up purchasing it. Of course, there's a need and there's a requirement for the product. To give you a simple example, I mean, if you go to a lot of people might have been to an H&M store. So you will see a lot of small items of, handkerchiefs, socks, etc. kept near the billing counter, because the consumer will not take a 1,000 rupee decision once he or she is already in the line. But if they are already in the line, they can pick up small things. Similarly, like we work with Mars Wrigley. So Orbit chewing gums is one of the products that we also activate. So that is essentially, where we are helping organizations in building a consumer connect, building a store connect, and helping them manage better. Right. I'll take you through one more slide that I want to show you. So this is typical. Actually, I'll skip this part of it. So these are typically, the kind of retailers that are there. I'll just show you some photographs that will help you. This is the grocery kirana store. Again, one of the largest, high value, loyal customer base. A lot of these guys will actually know what you already consume. When you go to the store, they might even just help you pick it out. A very, very relevant channel, cosmetics, very, very big in smaller towns in India, beyond the 10 lakh population towns where we work actively in. Open format stores or OFOs or standalones, these are the bigger outlets with a trolley and a walk-in shelf where a person can come and touch and feel the product. And lastly, something which has become very important during lockdown, pharmacies, right? Because the pharmacies continue to remain open day in and day out. Even after the lockdown, it has become a very relevant channel for the way companies do business. Right, okay. Before I get into my next slide, I want to just ask the audience if anybody wants to ask something till now. Have they understood what I'm talking about? Have they understood what the project is or what the product is? Happy to answer any questions. I'll wait for a minute and then I'll continue further. Yeah, sure. We'll move to the next slide. Perfect. So, simple question I want to ask you, right? Let me ask a question to the audience, right? What is the objective of an organization? What do you think? Let's take an FMCG organization, which is typically into business. What do you think their objective would be as a business? Anybody wants to answer that? Happy to hear it.
What, to make maximum profit?
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. I mean, one of the objectives definitely is going to be to make maximum profit. But the interesting part is, and I thank you, Ms. Lata, for answering that. And the interesting part is that when people want to make maximum profit with FMCG, you cannot suddenly cause consumption, right? Like, for example, if somebody is using, I used to sell Harpic at one point in time. If a household is consuming a liter of Harpic a month, they suddenly not start consuming more. So the only way to actually sort of grow the market is actually to grow the size of the market for a lot of these categories, or sort of to edge out competition. Now, the idea here of us, of a business like ours, is that we are enabling FMCG organizations to do that, right? So as rightly pointed out, the objective of a company is to increase sales, and we do that in 4 ways: to sell more to old, to sell new to old, to sell old to new to new, right? Management gyan aside, this is the simplest way that I at least learned how to do business, is that if you want to make more money, then either you sell more product to the same consumer. This is a very common story. I don't know if you've heard of it, that Colgate increased the mouth size of the tube and then drove toothpaste consumption through that. Or sell new to old, wherein, new products can be sold to the older consumers which already believe in your brand. Let's say if you're a toothpaste company, you start selling mouthwash to the same consumers. Or sell old to new, where you find new consumers. For example, a lot of categories in India, let's say toilet cleaners, let's say mouthwashes, let's say in household insecticides, are not, of course, reaching the entire population. The most penetrated category in India right now is biscuits and soaps, which almost reach up more than 95-97% population. But otherwise, the rest of the market, because we are such a large population size of country, is sort of open. Now, how do we sort of come in the picture of helping companies do that? We come and say that, if we create these kind of displays for you inside the store, they are going to help you grasp the consumer's attention and cause them to buy more, right? For example, I'm sure you've seen the blue-red Harpic in the store, or you would have seen a Dettol display in the store, or a lot of immunity sort of branding that is happening these days in the store. So we are sort of helping companies do that. Now, how do we come into the picture? So these are the three big spaces that we operate in. We operate in people, technology, and payment. So what we tell organizations is that you tell me your list of stores. We're already present across the top 30,000 stores of India. I'm going to send a merchandiser to that store, which will have your, in-store display material. The person is going to execute that in the store, create a beautiful branded shelf for you. On a weekly basis, they're going to do a maintenance. They have a visibility application that will allow them to capture photographs. We will audit these photographs and take out fantastic insights from what is happening in the shelf, what is your brand doing, how many facings do you have, what is competition doing, and you can know this real time while being in your head office. You can just know that, okay, what is happening across my top 30,000 stores. And because this Kirana store or grocery store is a big store, important store for you, you want to further incentivize them as well. We'll also pass on the payment to that store as a payment for the shelf displays. So this is where the organization said, okay, this makes sense to me, that I have one person, or let's say one organization or one vendor who can take care of people, technology, and payments for me. And that is honestly the one line idea on which we sort of built the business. Of course, it's taken step by step. It's been over 3 years now, and it's taken a lot of time to sort of get here. But that has been the idea. That is how we built the business. So if you look at it as a consumer, you've been consuming FMCG for the longest time. I would have been doing that for the last 25 years. But once I was in the industry and spent about 3-4 years there, it was fairly easy to figure out a problem and then I would say a very simple solution for it. Just figure out, okay, these are things that are not going on well right now. Probably they can be outsourced. And that's it. That was the idea. I mean, we grew fairly fast in size. So these are some of the cities that we are already operating in. Ever expanding. We'll cross 100 cities by the end of this quarter, and probably 2,000 people by the end of December. And FMCGs have shown their trust, obviously, in working with us. These are some of the companies that are currently clients of ours. We work with them on an every day, every month basis. And it's been fantastic working with them, learning from them. A lot of them are big MNCs who've taught us a lot over the last 3 to 4 years. Right. Okay. I'm going to take another short break here. I just wanted to check if anybody wants to ask us anything on the business before I get into a bit more detail in terms of how exactly do we run the operation. Anything anybody wants to ask about
Hello?
the business? Yes. Hi, Ms. Amrita. Please tell me.
Yeah. I just wanted to know now, because of pandemic, everybody wants to be at home and purchase online, irrespective of curtailing their desire to go out and
Sure.
So in this case, how would you have you entered into online market in projecting their products?
Sure. So great question, ma'am. So I'll answer that in 2 parts. So first part is the online sales. Of course, online sales have gone through the roof. I think for a lot of organizations, they would have probably doubled or maybe more than that in contribution of the last 3 to 4 months. But the honest truth is that the online business of FMCG, the industry that I cater to, still is between 1 to 2% of the monthly revenue. Because see, the online businesses of FMCG do not deliver to, more than about 70% of the pin codes. Secondly, a lot of this consumption of FMCG is products that you need to buy here and now, right? Your daily consumption, of course, the milk, breads, and consumables aside, but even a lot of these things there. Secondly, the convenience of just having the grocer is pretty high. So interestingly, the footfalls at grocers have actually gone higher at Unlock 1 itself than what they were pre-COVID levels, because consumers just found it most convenient to walk up to the closest store and buy. So we were, of course, not merchandising any of these stores or running this program for about April and May. But June onwards, sort of everything was back to normal, I would say. And then, now it's gone beyond what it was, because now these are the stores that are contributing most of the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your question.
I would like to ask a question there.
Yes, ma'am.
So the prerequisite that we are working on here is the space in the store. So it's a given that you would require space. How would that be a limitation to your business idea?
Sure. Yeah, no, fair, very true. And yeah, we need space in the store. But see, you saw the list of brands that we work with, right? So these brands are already in the store. So let's take an example of a category. Let's say biscuits. Now, biscuits as a category in an average size 1,000 feet grocer will already occupy approximately 5 to 6 shelves. Now, what we are trying to create is that let's assume one of the bigger biscuit companies, let's say Parle is one of the big biscuit company, and let's say we work with them. So we will take up a dedicated space for Parle on one of those shelves, brand it and merchandise it. that will induce consumer purchase. And having said that, it will increase my permanent share of shelf. Where I am saying that as an organization, I want to command a higher share of shelf in the top stores. And stores are happy to do it because they're anyway stocking the product. So it's harder would be, let's say, going with a new brand to the store and saying that, there's a new brand trying to find its feet and we want to get it to merchandise in your store. We've done a few of those. Of course, that is relatively harder. But stores are honestly happy because, stores want to make money as the brand sells out. And if the merchandising helps the brand get more revenue, the store also makes margin on that.
I would like to raise a point here that how do you ensure that whatever growth in the business is because of your branding and how you showcase the thing, or is it because you're working with the bigger brands that people are already like, I would automatically go and ask for a Britannia or a
Sure.
Parle
Right.
G biscuit. I wouldn't go for a local brand. So how do you
Right.
actually make sure that it's because of you that the business has increased?
Right. Right. No, fair. So I think so too. So of course, these are very measurable KPIs because, we capture all the images from our mobile application and do image analytics on that. Typically, there are two very absolute KPIs that people measure, three. So one is that they measure share of shelf. So they say that before I put in the program, if there were 6 shelves of biscuits and I was occupying 1 shelf, after the program, what am I occupying now? What is my facings and what is my share of shelf? Secondly, they say that what is my growth in invested store versus non-invested store. So for example, as I said, 30,000 stores, so let's say 2,000 of these stores will fall in Delhi, which means this company is not investing in almost 95,000 stores in Delhi. So these 2,000 stores need to grow faster in terms of business, and the store growth, so store sale data is available, which helps us measure that, okay, these stores are doing better than the rest of the stores. And then third is a very basic pre-post analysis, that pre-investing in the program, post-investing in the program, what is the difference in terms of sales numbers. So very, very measurable outcomes, I think. And that is why companies continue to sort of invest. Otherwise, I feel that, as Ms. Amrita rightly pointed out, that this kind of thing, if it was not giving value, would have probably stopped towards the mid of the pandemic. That we don't want to do this. So this is how it's been going on. So thank you for your question. Thank you for your question, ma'am. Anybody else wants to ask something?
There is one more question. You just said right now that the people will have at least 1,000 square feet place.
Sure, yeah.
The shop. But normally, if you look at the shops which are near your place, in place like Delhi, the shop size is very small.
Sure.
The neighborhood shops.
Right.
So I think branding would work only for the bigger shops, or you can say malls or all these things.
No, so it's both. So it's very true what you are saying. So see, as I said, right, we invest in 30,000 stores, right? And there are 1 crore stores in India. So it is obviously a small percentage of the number of stores that are there. So fair point raised that, yeah, we are not investing, of course, in all the stores because these stores contribute 40% of the business. But there are large enough grocers and pharmacy stores also, which, sort of are able to contribute very large part of the business because the footfall is very high. Right. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else wants to ask something? Otherwise, I can move to the next part of the presentation. Sure. I'll move ahead. Okay. So what all do we do? I want to show you some screens of our application. Maybe that will be interesting for you to see. So this is how our application typically looks. So you can see that, we are capturing photographs of shelves. We are capturing how a shelf looks pre-investment, post-investment. We are capturing how are and what are the brands available in the shelf and doing analytics on that. It helps us capture a lot of data. When you look at a more detailed view, for example, as ma'am said, modern trade, mall-based stores, we are capturing what is available in the store, how much are we selling out, what is available in the category, any customer feedback that is coming in. A lot of analysis keeps happening. And because we're able to give people and technology together, it really helps brands sort of capture very relevant information. Right. Okay. This photo I already showed you. So now tomorrow when you go to an FMCG store, do have a look at, what are the investments made. You'll see a lot of photographs or a lot of merchandising on the shelves. You will see a lot of merchandising near the cash counter. especially after COVID, you'll see a lot of merchandising outside the store, because a lot of stores have the line queue management system now, where a lot of consumers are spending time outside the store. I'll give you other typical category examples, like chips. You would have seen as a huge rack typically outside the store. Why? Because it's a pick-me-up sort of product. Coca-Cola refrigerators, Pepsi refrigerators, or any beverage refrigerators, again outside the store. Two reasons: of course, they occupy space. Secondly, they want it to be accessible to the consumer. The idea is that the consumer sees the Coke, feels like drinking it, opens it, and takes it out. And that is why it's sort of placed there. And it is companies like us which are helping sort of identify these spaces, create these spaces, manage these spaces, and manage these relationships with the stores. Right. Okay. I'll tell you something further interesting. So we have something called a one-click web application. I want to talk to you about it before I show a video of it as well. Now, what happened is that, I don't know, nobody pointed out here, but typically people point this out, that when these 30,000 stores are common to all the organizations, how do we sort of decide which brand is doing better? Because all the top brands will want to work in the same set of stores. So interestingly, what happened is that is a problem we came across and the problem we wanted to solve. And we realized at least the brands that are working with us, can we give them a solution that helps them talk to the store better? Now look at it this way, right? A kirana store owner keeps getting calls the entire day, is continuously managing stock coming in, managing cash counters, all of that. Most of these stores are run by the entrepreneur or the owner of the store rather, and very difficult to find that time and attention. Having said that, nobody minds, getting money, and nobody minds sort of an engaging this thing. So we started off with a very simple SMS, where we said that, we'll message the person, they can read the message, they'll get an update. Worked for a while, but then stopped working. Then we created something called an application, where the people could download an app and start seeing their updates. That also worked for a while, but then people lost interest. Finally, I think we've hit the idea upon the head. We realized that for a store owner, the maximum time we can get is between 30 seconds to a minute. And what better way to tell them about something like this than a video? So we created this fantastic technology wherein the kirana store owner gets a message. When they click on that message, instead of opening any app or anything like that, it just opens a web page and starts playing a video which is personalized to them. I'll show you a sample of that because I think you might find it interesting. So this was a technology, I don't know how many of you exactly got what it was, but primarily it is like a one-time short video, keeps updating the data, which is sort of, she's not seeing it, it is written on the video. And it actually helped us capture a lot more stores in terms of the program, in terms of what they were driving, how they were achieving their targets and making the money. So this was another innovation that we sort of came across, and we put it together, invented it rather, which helped us sort of take it to the next level. I hope you found that interesting. I'll just take a little bit more time and explain to you a bit more things. So of course, beyond the one-click video, we have a one-click web application where retailers can come online, see their details. This is doing very well. And we've of course launched a WhatsApp chatbot as well. This is going to be live, I think, mid next month with one of the biggest FMCG players, where literally a kirana store guy can start talking to an FMCG company by messaging hi on a WhatsApp number. Eventually, the plan is that a lot of the sales, a lot of interaction, a lot of updates to the store will move to the WhatsApp chatbot. Of course, Facebook controls it very, very solidly. So let's see how it sort of goes. But we are trying our level best to make it an interactive, fun to use WhatsApp chatbot and multilingual. You can see there's a sample of the Hindi page as well. So we're trying to make it to as many languages as possible. As clients invest and we expand, we are planning to go there as well. Sure. Okay. I don't think case studies are relevant. I just want to talk a little bit about the organization. So some things that have worked for us. So we started in April, Jan 17, April, we were live. We are bootstrapped. We're not raised any money till now, no external funding. We are founder run. We have a field team of 1,000 plus, now 1,500. And we now have crossed 100 crore in turnover. So that would be about our organization. As I said, I always tell people it's a boring B2B business. It is a business not easy to explain. It is a business maybe very few people who understand the FMCG industry will understand. But having said that, even in small niche sectors like these, there are lying opportunities that help us, build a phenomenal size of teams and businesses that can help service customers better. Another interesting bit about B2B businesses that they do not require very heavy investment, because clients will be onboarded, then they'll start paying, and then you'll start working with them. And we are a service, so we are sort of paid every month. So that is where an advantage essentially comes in for any business. So all the customers that you saw write us a check every month, like a fixed amount every month, which helps us in scaling up quickly and sort of expanding as well. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. I want to come to the last part of the presentation. Before that, any questions I want to take, and I'll come for 3 key takeaways from the presentation from a B2B business perspective. Anybody wants to ask something?
Adit, what I want to know is that whenever we do business, we talk about an idea which is like very, very exclusive, which sets you apart and gives you a competitive edge. How do you ensure that this idea of yours will not be copied very easily by your competitors? How do you set yourself in the market and keep the lead?
Sure. No, thank you so much, ma'am, for that question. And I must say that, of course, I keep getting that question at business school. I go to a lot of business schools who teach and take sessions on entrepreneurship. I want to share some experience from there. See, I think, I don't know if it's our wiring as a community or how it operates, but a lot of people do say that entrepreneurship ideas should be kept secret. You should not share your idea. You might have the most innovative idea. Not discounting that the idea could be very unique as well, but I feel that any business is 1% idea and 99% execution. Because let's say a very intuitive idea like food delivery or a cab on call or etc., etc. I'm sure there are thousands of people who've had that idea, but very few executed it very, very well. So my recommendation on that is, if you have a business idea and you're serious about it, share it with as many people as possible, get feedback, because there is a huge thing which I call founders bias, which sort of, makes us a bit biased towards our idea, towards our achievements. I don't know how many of you cook, but I'm sure a lot of you would have tried cooking for the first time during the pandemic, right? So, जो पहली बार खाना बनाया था, बड़ा अच्छा लगता है कि, we made this ourselves and this must be very nice. And gradually, as you keep eating your food, you realize कि, okay, some things I could have done better earlier. So best to speak to as many people as possible, share your idea with people, go to forums, have meetings, because maybe 100 people already have the idea that you have, but you could be the one which is executing it better. Coming to my competition and my business, already, of course, last 2-3 years have been a hot area for this space. You won't believe it, the competitor that I have, they are at least, one of them is a 50-year-old global company, one of them is a 25-year-old Indian company, but still we are on track to sort of bypass them in terms of business and size over the next 2 odd years. So it can be just execution and something that gives you an edge which can be done better. I hope that is, I probably should be relevant to everyone in the audience.
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to ask something, please go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What you have observed, because of your presence, how much sale was increased for a particular product, maximum and minimum?
Sure. So great. So actually, I skipped that slide. We had some impact slides. So typically, the KPIs that we set are 10% incremental lift. So what we mean by incremental lift is, let's say a particular store was selling, let's say, a certain soap of 100 rupees every month, or let's say 20,000 rupees every month. After investment, the soap sale should move to 22,000 rupees in that store, average. And that RR, recurring revenue lift, is approximately, worst case would be 5 to 6%. Best case can be like 40-50% also. A lot of the brands, a lot of the categories need their visibility. I'll give you a very recent example. We can't name the company. We work with a very big company in the Ayurveda immunity space. Now, since we started merchandising the Ayurveda immunity building products in the last 5-6 months, the sales have gone through the roof. Of course, a lot of it is contributed by the pandemic, but within the pandemic also, there has been a huge uplift in terms of the sale and of a lot of products, because people have now started to getting to know about these products, and there are a lot of solutions available in the market. So there is a pretty measurable lift.
And my second question is, how do you decide on your service charges
Sure.
for this service?
So ma'am, it's more or less like a per store per month basis, and then clients will get benefit of scale. So for example, if a client is, let's say, wants to activate 500 stores, will get a certain price per store per month, and a client who wants to do, let's say, 20,000 stores a month will get a much higher price overall level, but much lower at the per unit level. It's literally a slab, and I mean, now after we work with about 17, 18 odd big FMCGs in the country. So after that, I would say the pricing is pretty much standard.
But doesn't it happen that if you're charging a specific price for a specific brand and other price for other brand,
Sure.
later on they come to know about the pricing and then it becomes tough to deal with?
I mean, not really. I mean, not really. I mean, of course, we are not that varied in terms of pricing, honestly. I mean, these B2B services, highly negotiated contracts, I mean, takes time. It's 2-3 years in the build and all of that. And people, I think after they look at a price, they really look at quality of service very seriously. So I think prices are renegotiated, let's say, after some point in time. Of course, either you exorbitantly charge, which is not the case with us, or, you're not able to deliver what you promised. But otherwise, that's what I'm saying, that prices are pretty much standard, because the industry that we're selling to is a very close-knit industry. People know these companies in and out very well. A lot of people move from company A to company B, right? So a lot of this, we don't honestly play on pricing. I mean, our game is more scale in terms of, getting clients to make bigger investments and getting benefits out of it than anything else. So we sort of want to be there.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
Aditya, I'm sure you've done some sort of data collection where you are able to show that this is sustainable, that 22,000 increment is not a one-time show.
Yeah, of course. See, the organization which is spending. See, end of the day, we are activating the Kirana, but the people who are paying for it is the FMCG organization, right? They do a quarterly review of the program. So it's not that, once they invest, they'll let it be and all of that. They have to continuously see what is the incremental investments they are making. And then they have a lot of KPIs that they want to track. One is, of course, business lift. Second is, as I said, share of shelf, in-store visibility, in-store displays, etc., etc. Some of them will also do it primarily to ward off competition in a certain category. So very, very measurable outcomes. I mean, minimum review cycle would be like a quarter. Maximum review cycle will be like 6 months to 9 months. That's it. But every company will reevaluate the investment on a pretty much a continuous basis.
Say, for example, 10% increase you said,
Yeah.
and there is a 10% increase, say from 20 to 22,000. When a shopkeeper sells them for 22,000 for 6 months, his baseline becomes 22,000.
Perfect.
20,000,
Right. Right.
So, what changes you would make to increase it further? Or another question is, if he understands what you are doing to keep it from 20 to 22, he would do the same on his own and stop paying you.
No, right. So the people who pay us are the FMCG companies, not the Kirana stores, right? And FMCG companies are paying us for running the service. They are not paying us for inventing the service. Because, see, as an organization, of course, there are a lot of things that you do, a lot of things that you buy. I mean, a lot of big FMCGs, they are phenomenal at building great brands and doing great marketing, managing finances, everything very well. But this part of the activity is not something that they would want to run internally. They'll want to outsource the activity because it is something which is non-core to them, and anyway, it will cost them money to run it internally as well. So that problem doesn't arise. I mean, companies don't really want to run this internally at any point in time. To answer the first part of the question, which was the 22K average RR, sure. So after 6 months, if that becomes a baseline, but that is not the only measurable outcome that you look at. So you'll also look at outcomes in terms of share of shelf. You'll also look at outcomes in terms of competition visibility. You'll also look at outcomes in terms of invested versus non-invested stores. For example, if this store continues to grow at, let's say, 10%, but the non-invested store is growing at, let's say, 3%, then this store is continuing to give 7% delta to us, which will then suffice the cost of the program as well. And then, of course, incremental interventions can keep happening, more assets, more brands, from the same organization, different POSM, different messaging to the consumers that can keep happening, which can help causing, more and more offtake.
So is it that you help in brand building?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, consumer connect brand building, we definitely do that, right? Because see, if a consumer sees a stimulus of or an ad on a digital platform or on television or radio, and if they come to a store and they see the same messaging, then intuitively it's much easier to induce that purchase decision. So we are definitely helping create that consumer connect, because at the point of sale, is the brand visible or not is a big question that companies want to ask.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll jump to the last three slides. So, I've done this in a very cosmopolitan way that, three key takeaways of building B2B businesses from this session, and at least from my short 3.5 year business journey. Of course, a long way to go. First is, I would say in a B2B business, it's an easy need gap analysis. I think companies would like service providers to offer solutions that reduce effort. Right, so that is why it is a important one that you look at smaller gaps. It's great to have a very, very innovative idea, of course, but as I always said, I don't think our idea was very innovative. But what we were able to do is able to tell the companies that this is a problem and the solution can be outsourced to us. I think that is where we sort of brought a lot of advantage on the table, that you can reduce your effort of doing any of this and we can do it for you with a lot of transparency. Second was saying no to business. Every company we met, offered us an adjacency that, okay, this is what you do, but my requirement is this, right? It will be somewhere nearby of what you are doing, somewhere a little bit far away also sometimes. Very, very difficult to say no, especially if you're in dearth of cash and business not generating money at some point in time, but very important to say no. Because what happens, it's very wrong to spread yourself too thin, have too many ideas, too many solutions, too many products, and then not able to sort of deliver on any of those. So what we do, and we do it very, very correctly, and of course we've learned it over the years as well, but now we stick to what our core is. We know what is generating business, we know what is giving us, let's say, profit or helping us build clients, and we stick to those things as well. Last thing, I mean, this is more of a personal view. I would not say it's for everyone, but at least in B2B, my sense is that the big fish follow the small fish. So I always tell people that getting three clients is the benchmark, or the threshold that you need to capture. Once 3 clients are done and they become recurring clients, and of course you need to have a proper solution in place, it's easier to build the business after it. So thankfully, our first 3 clients were fairly big organizations. They trusted us as a young company. I was probably, the first sale was made when I was sitting alone in a co-working space working on a single desk. But after that, it was much easier to build the business. Now that I look back and I see that, yes, it probably would have been easier to acquire the smaller companies at the beginning, but I don't think that the bigger companies would have believed in us so quickly. So I think that is something that I also personally as well follow, even now whenever we think of something new to do. Right. That's it. Thank you so much from the presentation perspective. Happy to answer any questions anybody else has. I have another 5-7 minutes to go, and then we'll definitely close this. Let's take 1 or 2 questions if anybody wants to ask something.
How to keep the enthusiasm going? Because you said that execution is more important than the idea.
Yeah.
And when you get the setbacks in the business, then going ahead becomes tough.
Yeah.
So how do you keep going?
So I think few things. So one is definitely, I would say that have a balance between business life and non-business life for everyone, because I know that it takes years to build a business, and of course I didn't take any time off or weekends off for a long time. But finally, when business at a certain stage, have time off from the business so that you can think of new perspectives. And I think secondly, that when something is your labor of love, you've spent so much time building it and putting it together. I don't think that a tough time sort of softens you. I think it makes you harder. You would want to push and get yourself through to it, because business is something which is not, as an entrepreneur, you'll not separate it from your own self. So like I say that when if a tough time falls on myself, let's say, a health issue or emotional issue or anything like that, I figure out a way to solve it. So my business or, my venture is treated sort of the same way. And I'm sure that's true for every entrepreneur in the world, not just for me. Thank you, Amrita. A lot of nice questions to ask. Thank you so much. Anybody else wants to ask something, or we close in a minute? Great, thank you so much. It was fantastic being here always, and I'm really hoping that we are back on campus next year with the next QIP round. I hand over to Dr. Mathur, please.
Sir, our participant want your contact ID.
Sure. I'm just putting my mail ID in the chat box.
Okay,
People can reach out to me. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Putting my mail ID. Happy to. I do consult with a lot of startups. I am on the board of a few companies. In case participants, of course, this is a specific audience, but if anybody who wants to reach out, have a chat, just get some bounce off some ideas, I'm happy to do that. I spend a lot of time doing that, so happy to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Lata. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a fantastic QIP for the rest of it, and thank you so much for giving me keeping me engaged during a post-lunch session. All the very best, and have a nice day, a nice weekend ahead as well. Thank you, Rajni ma'am, for arranging this.
No, just hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think Lata ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can request yourself and Dr. Sahu to please do the honors.
You are sharing.
I will share.
Sahu, sir.
Meanwhile, Aditya, I would like to know, how do you help a pharmacy? Because I saw that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how can a pharmacy, because there the patient is going to come and ask for whatever the doctor prescribes.
Right. No. So see, pharmacy, we don't look for. I mean, prescription drugs anyway. Promotions are banned, so we don't do any work in that. But pharmacies are a big space to sell OTC products and regular FMCG as well. I mean, if you've been to Mumbai, like Mumbai pharmacies sell everything from soap, Harpic, and all these things as well. So in pharmacies also, we activate those brands only. Like some of the brands that we've worked with in pharmacies, Durex we worked with, Strepsils we worked with, Dabur Immunity we worked with quite a bit. So these are the brands. So a lot of these categories are pharmacy specific, but yeah, prescription drugs, no. I mean, I don't. Also, the prescription drug companies do not invest in merchandising. I mean, you'll never see them displayed on a shelf because they will always be in the drawer or in the box, typically categorized by a certain method that the pharmacist understands to take it out.
But Johnson & Johnson, no, sir, they are giving some incentive for displaying.
Yeah. So we work with them, but that is for the consumer.
They used to come and take the photograph and they give some money.
Yeah, same. So we do that business with them also, but that's again for the consumer healthcare business. So like baby soaps and all that, that's not prescription. So that is there. So again, same channel, but the prescription drug companies, they don't invest. The consumer healthcare companies, definitely they do that. Health food drinks, baby category, feminine hygiene category, a lot of categories are very active in pharmacies.
But a lot of new things that are coming up is like devices. They don't categorically fall under, pharmacy, and they're open to marketing because.
Yeah, I think, true. I think the health, like oximeter has become a very common conversation, I think, in the last 3-4 odd months, where people are buying it and everything. So yeah, I mean, of course, no companies approached us yet. Neither had we had a chat. Yeah, but I'll not be surprised that devices will become a big thing at the pharmacist's end as well. So that will definitely be there. Pharmacy is a very interesting space. Why I personally like it is because pharmacist is also a very trusted retailer. So a lot of consumers do come to him or her with problem for expecting a solution as well. Like we still live in a world where people come and say, I'm not feeling well, or I have a headache or something, and give me a basic medicine. like an OTC sort of medicine. So that happens, and that's why it's a very interesting space to work into. But pharmacies will be and have become very important during COVID, because even in cities where the lockdown shut down grocers, very few of them though, pharmacies were still open. So I find them a very important lever and channel of growth over the next few years for sure.
So, Sahu sir?
Yes. So,
Is the certificate visible?
Oh
Yes,
yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Sahu sir, please felicitate Aditya ji. Lata, maybe we lost him. You can take over.
Yes, ma'am. Sir Aditya sir, we feel very happy to have you here. Last time also you came for the QIP, and really, sir, it's very interesting to have you here, and we enjoyed your talk. And all of our participants must have sir, got some idea about what to B2B and all. Thank you very much, sir. So please accept our certificate.
Sure. Of course, on behalf of my company also, I accept the certificate, and thank you so much. It's always great to be, here at the QIP with DIPSAR and DIPSARU, and hopefully to be back next year again, and hopefully on campus. Thank
Definitely.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Great
you, sir.
time.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so especially when Modi ji is saying that we need to have a lot of business footprint, you would, be like, why would we call you every time? Because every time Atmanirbhar Bharat mein Modi ji kehte hai ki business karo. So we want to see
Yeah.
how businesses are developed, how they are conceptualized, how they are executed, how can ideas and passion take you forward. So it's good to have you over and talk about something which is very, very relevant. Thanks so much, Aditya.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Great time always being here. Thank you. Again, I thank Dr. Mathur specifically for inviting me again. It's always nice to speak to her and come up. And hope to be back soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Sir, you please give your contact details, sir. This will be, sir, showed in the YouTube also. Many people will be benefited.
Sure. I've given it in the chat. I'll just put my mail IDs there. You can put them on YouTube. No problem.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
So, Lata, you can invite the next speaker for the day. Is the CV visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can introduce the next speaker, please.
I'm very happy to invite Abhilasha ma'am, and she is like our colleague only. And madam is giving a lecture in every QIP, and every participant enjoy her talk. And really, we wanted to have ma'am's talk, Amisha. And I wanted to introduce ma'am to our participants, the 33rd QAP participant. They may not be knowing about ma'am. Our Abhilasha ma'am is a noted educationalist and social worker, having completed her BSc in business management from Al Hakima University, Iraq, and she pursued her MBA from Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi, and further did her BEd from Saurashtra University. Ma'am has worked as a director of vocational institutes at Shivai YWCA of Delhi and Amity University. She has been a trainer with ICRI Krima and is at present actively involved in educating and training students at DIPSAR. Ma'am has over 25 years of experience in the teaching line. Ma'am has been holding workshops in soft skills for corporates, college and school going students. Besides having earned a name for conducting powerful training programs, she is also known for her creative bent of mind and talent. And ma'am has been nominated for All India Best AFWWA Worker for the year 2005 from Eastern Air Command Air Force. Ma'am, we are really happy to welcome you, and you are our colleague only. Ma'am,
Yes.
we are expecting to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Lata ma'am. It's a pleasure being here always.
Mhm.
I would just like to tell everybody that I have been, doing these sessions are energy to me. And I love doing these sessions, and I've been associated with DIPSAR for the past 10 years, and I love being a part of them. So I chose this topic, personal impact, because this is a hot topic nowadays in the corporates, whether it is for junior level or senior level, or it is for the middle level management, everybody undergoes this program. So I thought it would be very interesting because it not only helps you professionally, but it also helps you personally. So we are going to study what is personal impact and how we can make an impact if we are not making one already. I would like it to be an interactive session. So please use the chat box so that we can share ideas and interact, or you can just unmute yourself and speak up. Now, I start by asking you a question. What's the best compliment you could give yourself? Please answer. Let's see the energy. The best compliment you could give yourself. Nobody? I would say, Abhilasha, I love giving powerful presentations. I love your presentations. So there is something that you love about yourself, and that's the compliment you need to give yourself. Please remember one thing, that you need to love yourself. You need to appreciate, you need to know your qualities. So I didn't get anybody, I'm awesome. Yes, I get one, lovely, very good. You are awesome. And that is how you would like to be looked at by others. That is how you would like to be remembered as. We all want to be remembered as the way we look at ourselves. Being creative most of the time, yes, very good. That is another way that you are creative and people know your creativity. Very good. I love the energy. Okay, so I want you to come with me where I'm taking you. I'm going to take you to 3 scenarios. The first scenario is that you're walking on the road and there are people coming in front of you. And there are some people who really make you look at them. And there are some people whom we don't even notice. Are you with me? Have you ever come across these situations where somebody comes and you look at them maybe because they are so well dressed, or they smile at you, or because of the eye contact? Have you ever come across that? A yes, maybe at the chat box? Yes? Have you faced this scene before? Yes. Okay. So Neha, yes, you have faced that scene, and we all face that scene. And there is another scenario. I take you to the classroom. And when I take you to the classroom, you go there. There are certain students who impress you immediately. And there are certain who go unnoticed. And they are the ones who contact you after so many days, or so many years on Facebook and tell you, ma'am, you taught me this. And you say, really? Well, I might have. You don't remember them. Okay, so there are many people that make an impact on you immediately, who get noticed by you. So this is the second scenario. And the third scenario I come to is you go for an interview. I have been on a panel of interviewers, and the interviewees come. There are sessions where we say, oh, well, this one is the best of the lot. That means nobody has made an impact. And then there are panels in which I have been where one person walks in and he makes an impact on you and you say, what? This is the guy I want. So what happens is that it's better to be unique than the best, because being the best will make you number one, but you being unique makes you the only one. And we are going to learn how to become the only one. Okay, so now let me tell you, if your presence does not make an impact, your absence won't make a difference. Like I tell you, I have so many students who connect with me in Facebook and say, ma'am, you taught us this. And I don't even remember them because they never made an impact. They were just students, and there were certain ones who showed their presence. Maybe they spoke so well, or they dressed so well, or they had eye contact, or they had confidence. They made themselves visible. And you remember those people. Okay, now what is the program objective going to be? I would like to talk about personal impact. It could be in categories. It could be negative impact or positive impact. There could be 0 impact, 100% impact, degrees in impact, 10% impact. Now, we are going to learn how to become positive, how to make a positive impact and accentuate first impressions with students and others in day-to-day interactions, that you make your presence felt in a positive way. What is a negative impact? Negative impact is when I see somebody and he always has an angry face, or the personality is not so appealing that, you know, I rather take the stairs if he's taking the elevator. Or if you want me to talk to him, I say, why don't you go there and talk to him? I don't want to be in touch with him. Why? Because he's not welcoming me. He's not approachable. And there are people who leave a positive impact on you. And that positive impact is that you can go to them any time you want. Okay, so now let me ask you, what do you think is personal impact? What do you mean by personal impact? What do you understand by it? You can unmute yourself or write in the chat box. Anybody? What do you understand by personal impact? And how will it help you? I told you that it's going to help you personally as well as professionally. And that is why it is a hot topic in the conference. Held for every level, middle level, senior level, junior level, entry level. Anybody? Personal impact is the actions, the thoughts that you leave behind with a person about yourself. And how does it help you? How does it help you? It helps you by, by making you feel important. Okay. I don't know why this got stuck. Sorry. Okay, so it means that you command attention, you influence people. People want to listen to you. People want to be connected to you because they trust you. You win their trust and you stand apart. Whenever anybody wants some help, the first name that comes is yours. And that is how you stand apart. So what do you bring to the table which no one else does? Can I have some answers? Which no one else does. Are you a subject matter expert? Our uniqueness, very good, Neha. Yes, I agree with you. So maybe you're a role model, or you are just a good human being, or you are an inspiration, or you're a subject matter expert, or you're a one-stop solution. That's what people are looking. Actually, what is the outcome of your meeting? Do people say, wow, it was wonderful meeting this person? So it is, yes, as Neha said, your uniqueness that you bring to the listing. Now, I am putting in front of you a slide, and they are the valuable brands. Do you all agree? Right? Now, let me tell you the story of Coca-Cola. In 1980, Pepsi had taken over Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's new CEO, Robert Gussetto, took over, and his employees told him, sir, we are in doldrums. Pepsi has taken over. Now, that was a challenge for this man. But he was a very, very innovative person. He said, okay, how much does an average American drink? They said 14 ounces. He said, what is Coke's share of it? They said 2 ounces. He said, okay, I'm not fighting Pepsi. 10 ounces is shared by tea, coffee, water, juices. I'm going to fight that. Put vending machines in every corner, at bus stops, at metro stations. And when people have to think about water, they'll say, okay, let's have a Coke. And that is how Coke came back and never looked behind. So that was Robert Guzzetto, who thought uniquely and made Coke a brand. Now, let me tell you, when a brand, Google is a noun, but nowadays we use it as a verb. Let's Google it. Anything we want information, let's Google it. When you make that, when the noun has become a verb, you become a brand. Let's Paytm. Paytm kar do. Don't we say that? Yes. So they have become brands by their uniqueness. Now, we also are a brand. Let me tell you that you are viewed by others. That is by default. What they think of you is by default. But when that default can change into design, we can make ourselves be looked at by people the way we want to look at ourselves. And now this session is going to convert the brand by default to brand by design. Okay, now let me tell you, 95% of the times we are doing things unconsciously. You know, we read, we put on the television, we go to the bathroom, we use the washroom to wash our face, we wash our hands, we eat. But now consciously, we are going to develop ourselves into people who will make an impact. Because that is most important, for you to love yourself and the people to love you too, and you to see yourself and the way that you want the people to see. So what is your personal brand? Is what you are uniquely known as for your action, words, and appearance. Okay, so we start. What is the mantra? We are going to deal in 4 phases. First is first impressions, communication, confidence, and visibility. And we are going to talk about each one of them because they are the ones that will make you develop into a person who will have a personal impact. So now the first thing is first impression. Do you see this photograph? Do you see this girl? Would you like to meet her? Is she looking approachable? Yes. Can I have the chatbot? Yes or no? What do you see in her? You can unmute yourself and talk to me. Do you see her eye contact? Do you see her smile? And do you see her handshake? It is a firm handshake. It is not a loose hand given. It is a firm handshake. Now, I had a few friends, students of mine who went to the US, and they wrote back to me saying that, ma'am, we went for an interview and the panel just shook our hands. And then they said, okay, we want to see this one, this one, this one. Now, yes, Dr. Praveen, yes, smiling, you see the girl smiling, yes. So what happened? Why did they shake hands and choose their candidates? Because a firm hand shows a firm mind. A loose handshake shows a person who's very passive. So they wanted firm people. Now, could you tell me what is the difference between a firm person and a strict person? We don't want to be strict, but we want to be firm. We want to be firm with our students. We don't want to be strict with them. Can you tell me the difference? Anyone? Unmute. Use the chat bar. When you're firm, you're telling them that this much and no more. I don't take nonsense. When you're strict, there is a sign of anger in you, which may have a punishment also. So when people trust you, and if you're firm, they like you. Okay, so here the girl is smiling. You have to. Smile is an ornament that we keep in the bank. Why? Because bank balance less ho jayega agar hum use karenge. But we should not do that. We should continuously smile at people. When we pass each other, we should smile. Yes, commitment also, Dr. Praveen, you are right. It shows a commitment. The handshake shows a commitment. She's leaning forward. That shows her positivity. Very good. Totally agree with you. And then the eye contact. So the first impression is what it is that it is a smile. We talked about the right handshake. Nowadays, we talk about namaste. Many of us don't even do namaste. We just do this and we go. But you should do that complete namaste. Why? Because that makes an impact. So we've talked about smile. We've talked about the right handshake. And now let's go to introduction. This is a very interesting one. Can you tell me, suppose you are caught with a VIP in the elevator and you want to introduce yourself. How will you introduce yourself? Anybody? It's called the elevator pitch, elevator introduction. You have 30 seconds. You have 1 minute. You don't say Shweta Gupta, you don't say Anita Bedi. He won't remember you. You don't say Abhilasha Gupta. There are so many Abhilashas he must have met. So remember, the introduction is something that we all have to practice. I met a lady and she told me, hey, I'm Bhavna Mishra. I give smiles. I bring smiles to people's faces. I give them their salaries. I'm in the accounts department. And it clicked. Whenever I saw her, I said, accounts department? Yes. There was a movie I saw. And in that movie, Javed Akhtar, I think, not Javed, the other Javed, he says, I'm Happy Singh, happy with an I. So when people talk about him, they said, oh, happy with an I, because he made himself unique. Now, when you have 30 seconds, you have to practice an introduction. Don't just say, I'm Bhavna Singh. Doesn't matter. If you have to make an impact, you have to practice an introduction. You have to say, Bhavna Singh, working at DIPSAR for the past 10 years, or HOD of pharmacology department. Something that the adjectives are remembered. Now, when you are introducing your team, I come to the second part. You are introducing your team. You always give an adjective. You don't say, okay, this is Anil Kapoor, this is Salman Khan, this is so-and-so. No, you give an adjective. You know, Anil Kapoor has brilliant ideas all the time. Oh, Salman Khan is a one-stop solution. Oh, if you want to contact anybody, just ask Amir. So we must give these introductions because it motivates our team and it'll make the other person remember. Now, suppose your boss forgets to introduce you. Please go and introduce yourself. That's how you make an impact. Okay, so now I come to the next slide. This book is an autobiography that you have written. What will be the title? Anybody? Unmute yourself or write. Anybody? This is the introduction you need to practice. Okay, so now I come to, I would like to ask you something. We all have guards in our colleges. Now the guard, I know, filled with politeness, Neha, yes. That will be your title? Great, great. So I have a question for you again. There is a guard at every college of ours. And I know for one thing that when I go there in the morning, he always wishes me, good morning, madam, or namaste, madam ji. Now, how many of you, I'm going to ask you this question, be genuine, never give up, beautiful, beautiful. The name of your autobiography, beautiful. So, how many of you have an eye contact with the guard? How many of you smile at the guard? And how many of you respond to him? Can I know that? The guard? Yes, he's just a guard. You do. Neha, you do? Do you smile? Do you have eye contact? You always respond. Amrita, ma'am, yes, you always respond. Great. So what are you doing? You are making an impact. But there was a very interesting observation, and they took the statistics and they saw that 90% had no response. Very few responded. Rare few made eye contact, and the rarest smiled. We are here to make a personal impact. Remember, it starts with everybody. The guard is also a part of your organization. And if you want him to remember you, well, you have to respond. Like nowadays, when I go out in the morning for my morning walk, the guard there, he folds his hand and tells me, Namaste, Madam Ji. And I always tell him, Namaste Ji. I fold my hands. I just don't nod. Because that's complete. And he always, when he sees me in the car, he comes running. So we have to respond to each and every person. He may be the caretaker, he may be the sweeper, because they are all indispensable for running of an organization. So I come to the next thing, and that is voice, speaking clearly. Speaking clearly means voice modulation. Okay, we have to, when we speak clearly, we have to give pauses. We have to show our emotions. We have to modulate our voice so that we become interesting. People hear us. Remember one thing, your energy is the energy of the audience. If you are boring, if you just say, okay, now look at the benefits of voice modulation, you can become interesting, you should express emotions. If I'm going to talk like that, you always switch off. So you have to be interesting. You have to modulate your voice. You have to bring expressions, because that draws the listener to you. So you grab attention, and people are ready, come to know exactly what you mean. Now look at this. There are 3 sentences which mean totally different by the stress of the word. That is an extremely difficult market. That means more than difficult. We all know that this is an extremely difficult market. You and I agree on that. Okay, so we know, we stress, that means the others don't know. This is my watch, I'm showing authority. This is my watch, I'm showing possession. So when you stress at words, which we must learn to stress as words. When my students give me presentation skills, I tell them, sorry, this is very boring, because you don't have any emotions. You have to portray your emotion. You have to make an impact. So then the next thing I come to is body language. Body language is a one-day workshop. I could talk and talk and talk. How to use your hands, how to use your eyes, how to use your lips, your body language. Like when you stand, you should, the confident stand is, you must spread your legs and stand straight. But how much should you spread your legs? How much is your shoulder width? That much you have to spread your legs and stand. You don't slouch. You sit straight. You have eye contact. You smile. Okay? And you give nods when people are talking. And if you have a loose handshake, you do not make an impact. You have to have firm handshakes. If you have your hands in your pockets, that means you're not confident. So do we want to show that we are not confident? So there are the positive body language and there is the negative body language. Now this is a quiz. Steve is here and he wants to make a good impression. What should he do? The left-hand side or the right-hand side? Could you at least give me the answer on this? Left-hand side or the right-hand side? What should he do to make a positive impact? Anybody? You can unmute yourself. The left side. You are absolutely right, Amrita ma'am. Sudhakar, Deepak, yes, the left side. That's very true. Okay, so now we come to the second part. We have taken care of the first part, that is the first impression. And now the second part, better communication. Now, communication is a vast subject. Okay, we have a one-year course on that. Okay, but we are just going to do what is necessary. Now, 55% you are speaking with your body. The body language is talking. It is only 38% that the vocal, the voice modulation is taking place. And you understand by the voice modulation. The words used are only 7%. But I must insist here that 7% nowadays matters a lot. And we'll talk about that later. Now, when I have to make an impact, remember I have to use my body language. It has to synchronize with what I'm talking. And the words I use have to be stressed upon. I have to make them notice the keywords. And I'm going to talk about the keywords also. So we are being looked at visually, heard vocally and verbally. And that is what is making an impact on others. And that is what we do when we watch others. Okay, so now I come to do I have to control emotions? Yes. My emotions will show. If I'm underconfident, it will show. My voice will show it. I'll have a shaky voice. Okay, I must speak with the right tone. My volume has to be perfect. If I am speaking softly, that means I'm underconfident. And if I am shouting, I'm aggressive. There's something bothering me. So your speech is like music. Allow the audience to enjoy it. Okay, so not so slow, not so fast, so that you are not boring at all. Okay, so express yourself or risk never being heard. Nobody is going to remember you. You have to express yourself well. Speak up. So now I come, let me just consolidate what we have learned. We have to speak loud and clear. Okay, stress at the right words. Simple communication is smart communication. Don't use ands and buts. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. I won't say I'll see you tomorrow and have a good day. I can see you tomorrow, but I think don't use fillers. Be very direct. Okay? Now, when you are teaching, you want to make an impact in communication. Please ask your audience for choices and you learn from them. That is why I wanted to learn from you. I said, please unmute yourself and talk to me, because I learn from here. I take it to my next session or use the chat box. Okay, so we must give our students choices. And maybe they have ideas which are going to be very useful. Use stories. Stories make a great impact. Maybe your own story that, oh, that happened to me also. And well, I dealt it with this way. And be careful of your body language. It has to be very, very positive. Don't slouch. Don't put your hands in the pocket. Okay? Be confident and create your impact. Now I come to the next part. There were 4 parts. This is the third one, confidence. Just before the session, I was discussing with Dr. Raji Mathur that I'm going to talk about confidence today because it's like an ornament that you wear. Confidence shows in your body language, the way you carry yourself, in your clothes that you wear, and the way you speak. Okay, the first thing, how to build your confidence. Please, I have heard so many people say, oh, I can't talk like her, she talks very well. Oh, you know, she's so fair, yeah, she carries everything. First of all, you don't compare. Your confidence, you are confident. You never compare yourself with anybody because God has given you certain beauty that is not given to other people. So please stop comparing yourself with everybody. You can also do it. Everybody can talk. Now, let me tell you one more thing, that we have to learn from history. In the sense that something, and let me tell you another thing, that the things that hurt us the most, we learn from them the most. If somebody has ditched you, you say, the impact is so great that you will learn not to fall into that trap again. Now, how you look, physiology impacts psychology. I would like to mention here something that, you know, we have gone on the online mode and it's going to be there for a long time now. We are going to hold classes, everything, the seminars, everything is going to be online. Now, I want you to keep this in your mind because I've seen a lot of seminars and I've seen a lot of people who are sitting on their bed when a seminar is going on and talking. And they've just put their hair, tied their hair up there. Remember, you are at home, working from home, but your role as a teacher has not changed. Why does a lawyer wear his robe? Why does a lawyer wear his robe? Because he feels that he comes into that role. Why does a judge wear his robe? Because he comes that. Why does a pilot wear his uniform? Because then he knows that he is not a home person. He is that pilot and he's got a responsibility. So when we talk about the online, you have to have a get-up and a setup. Get-up is you. You have to wear proper clothes. You have to have your hair neat and this thing, and you have to be sitting. Okay? The audience will feel your energy. And this confidence, when people say, I'm not confident, please fake it till you make it. You all have that confidence. Fake it till you make it. That is what we say in the corporate. And once you start doing that, you will see that you have that confidence. And remember, your energy is the energy of the audience. If you are not energetic, you are not confident, they lose confidence in you. So it's not I can't, it's I can. Okay? And the last thing I come to is visibility. Visibility is kind of, I'm going to talk about everything in this. What we've talked about, communication, about confidence, about first impressions. So let's talk about visibility, which is very important, which if you develop, you have created in you the power of giving a personal impact. Now, first thing, we have to be available. What do you mean by be available? You are a subject expert, but when we call on you, you are not there. Oh, ma'am is at home. She's got her mother-in-law problem. No, you have to showcase yourself. Tell them I'm available. I may not be coming, but I am available over the phone. Please call me. Your expertise has to be shown. Take initiative. I know many people, they said, Arey Baba, let's not go there or kaam mil jayega. No, you have to show your work because otherwise you will not be recognized. What impact are you making? Because if you're there or not there doesn't make any impact if you're not going to take the initiative. So take initiative, showcase, show that you can do it. And you have to dress to impress. What do you mean by dress to impress? At times we wear clothes which are in fashion, just because they are in fashion, but we can't even carry it. But we want to wear it. Why? Because everybody's wearing it. No, you have to wear clothes that you can carry. I know many people carry European dresses very well. And there are so many people who carry saris very well. See what you can carry. Demonstrate expertise. Okay, demonstrate your expertise. If you know something, please share it. Say, I think I know the solution. I think I know this, because that is very, very important. The next thing is that we have to do some introspection and see where we are lacking. Are we lacking in confidence? Are we lacking in words? You know, there are many people who speak very well. I was talking to a very close colleague of mine yesterday, and I said, oh, you speak so well. She said, no, I think I look for words. I said, no, you don't. So you have to give feedback to your students, to everybody. You have to give them feedback. When they get genuine feedback from you, you have created an impact. But you know what we do? We don't want to give compliments. Why? Because wo chad jayegi. Why should I give the compliment? You know, maybe she's looking nice. No, tell them you're looking good. That's one way of creating a personal impact. Be genuinely interested in others. And our students need us. They need us very much. So we have to do introspection and see what we are not doing, where we are lacking, and we have to do that. So there is something called commitment. I have known many people who are known for their commitment. You know, they tell you, oh, ma'am did not answer your call. Don't worry, she'll call back. Ma'am, oh, her marks will come on time. Don't worry about that. It's 4 o'clock, 5 to 4, you'll get it. Because you are known for your commitment. And that has a solid personal impact. You are creating impact. Are you regular to classes? And if you are not going to come, do you make everybody know about it? That I'm not coming? Okay, this. Because when you are committed, people remember. There is no doubt about that. There is one hot topic which is in the corporate, again, very much in demand, and that is networking skills and creative problem solving. Now, One more thing that creates an impact is that you are resourceful. You always think of the alternate. Oh, can I ask Amrita ma'am to help me out? Can I ask so-and-so? Oh, I know this person there. Or what is another way I can solve this problem? You know the experts in the area. This is called networking skills. And people will remember you. They'll say, oh, just go to ma'am, and ma'am will find a solution because she knows everybody who knows how to deal with situations. So you need to be resourceful, meet people and do the networking, be in touch. Happy Diwali, happy Holi, pop-up. We call it the pop-up situation. So that you are there in their eyes. Because you would also like to be known for your resourcefulness. So challenges, we don't call problems any longer. We call them challenges and we can face them. So you always have alternatives. Now, humility, let me tell you something. Everybody, you have heard about Sudha Murthy? Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy's wife? You know, one day of the month, she sits in front of the Infosys office in Bangalore and sells vegetables. There are photographs all over. You can Google it. That is because she wants to keep in touch with her roots, humility. We all have an ego and it can take us. You can make our brain go haywire, but this is humility. People are known for their humility. And so true humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. You think of others. I would like to share with you, the other day I was with a colleague of mine who was working for one of the top organizations in Delhi, one of the real top organizations, which has about 40,000 employees. And she receives a letter from her CEO. And he writes that today is Shamapan Parv, which is a Jain day where you ask forgiveness from everybody. And he wrote a letter to his team individually saying, dear so-and-so, today is this day and I would like to ask forgiveness if for anything that I have hurt you, knowingly or unknowingly. That is called humility. And he's the CEO of the company. And she asked me, she says, ma'am, how do I reply to this? I said, this is great humility. He's a name. And I'm in awe of that person because it takes a lot to do that. Okay, so now tell me of a word that you use very often, because I'm going to give you one more mantra. Like, for example, in the classroom, I say, okay, let's do it. If you all agree with it, let's do it. Something I use, let's do it. Anything, any word that you use? Or any word that you have seen anybody else using? Your boss, maybe. Anybody?
Basically.
Basically. Okay. So, Neha, the mantra is very clear. When you're talking to your boss, you use that word again. Say, basically, sir, this is how it is. Because he uses basically. So you connect. That's his keyword. So when your boss says, okay, are you all ready for it? You use the same words and says, yes, sir, we are ready for it. You don't say, okay, sir. You use the same words. because those are the key words that they want to hear, they connect with. So whenever you have people in influential positions who are using one certain word, that, do you think it's a great thing? Yes, sir, we think it's a great thing. Great going, sir. Why? Because you are making an impact by using the key words. Okay, now I come to words. And I come to words because they matter a lot. Now, you remember when we used to go on the highway, there were signs called urinals. Now it's called public facilities. Public utilities, they have changed the words. Why? Because we see it positively. First, we used to say housewife. Now we call her a homemaker. She's a homemaker. My mother is a homemaker because she actually makes the home. So words matter a lot, though they are 7%. But you can make an impact by the words. So when your children in the classroom are hyperactive, you say, oh, you're very energetic. Okay, if somebody is very talkative, you say, oh, you have a lot of ideas. If somebody is shy, you say, oh, you seem like an observer. Sensitive, kind. Stubborn, you don't say you're very stubborn. You say, oh, you stand up for yourself, is it? Attention seeker, you don't say, you say he wants to be connected. He's not bossy, he's a leader. Somebody is very sensitive. Oh, you're very expressive. And you don't say that you are very aggressive and angry. I said you struggle to express emotions in a healthy way. So let's see some more, which I have noted down just for the teachers, because it's a session that we are taking with the teachers. I have noticed some other words. You motivate your students. So when you motivate your students, you share the enthusiasm. You tell them, oh, I'm very proud of you that you've completed your project. You give us, you become a support system. You're not a teacher, you're a support system, because you have so much, you have contributed so much to their lives. And that is why they remember you, they connect with you. And when they are facing hardships or they made mistakes, you tell them the story, you connect with them, say, yes, it happened to me too. It happens to everybody. So let that not worry you. You motivate them. Next is empathy. Sympathy is lip service. Empathy is you share the feelings. One thing that we have to do is actively listen. We have to do 80% of the listening with our students. And we have to tell them the right direction. We have to connect with them with our story maybe, or give them advice. You have to share your feelings with them and talk to them. Maybe he's not seeing the other person's perspective. You talk to them saying that, well, see the other person's perspective. If I were you, maybe I would think like that. What do you feel about it? Don't impose yourself, but talk about it. Now, one thing I always feel is we teachers have to be firm. We have to do self-regulation. We don't have to tell the students, oh, you've come late again. You say, I don't like people coming late to my class. Be direct. They will understand that you mean good for them, because I get confused with my chain of thoughts. So, you know, I have students who tell me, oh, ma'am, you know, I missed the metro. Maybe you could think of something else then. So tell them the ways to cope and tell them what you want of them in daily routine. I want the projector on. I want this, 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 this. When you are clear in your mind, they become clear in their mind. Now, social skills is something which is very important. This is also called networking. Okay, we have to develop our social skills. We have to keep in touch because we need alternatives. We are there to solve problems. We are not there to create problems. People are approaching you because they trust you that you have a solution. So every time hear the new experiences and learn from them. So what did you do, ma'am, when this happened? What happened? So uh, tell people that maybe you could use please and thank you. That's very nice. When somebody is angry, tell the person, I think you need not talk now. The body language is very negative. You need to read the body language to approach a person. When your boss is so angry and you to go and tell him, sir, I need leave tomorrow, what do you expect him to say? So be sure that you enhance your social skills. Now, there is self-awareness. Now, self-awareness is something that I told you that you have to be clear as to what you need. Do your introspection. See where you lack. Do you lack in words? Do you lack in giving feedback? You must give feedback and give it very positively. You know, you're very good in your presentations usually. However, you need improvement in this. Today, I thought maybe you were a bit nervous. Maybe that's because of your health or maybe this thing. So remember that you have to be clear of yourself. Take feedback and take feedback from people who will give you general constructive feedback. Not negative feedback that you are having a headache and then thinking that, oh my God, this is what people think of me. No, from genuine people. Take constructive feedback and work on it. So now I come to a little quiz again. Can you tell me which is positive and which is negative? Which side? Steve is not available when he's needed. The other is he ensures he's available when he's needed or schedules time for others. Which side is positive impact? Can I have right? Very good, Neha. Yes, the right side. Anybody else has a different view? Green, yes. You're right, Ritu. It is. That is Ayash Jen. Yes, right, positive. Yes. So I think you have understood what is a positive impact. So now I am going to conclude my presentation. So it's just a time to reflect. So be available all the time. Tell them where they can get you. Dress to impress. Communicate clearly. That is, use your words correctly. Use your emotions, your stresses, and synchronize your body language with your words. Love yourself. People will always look at you and make out whether you're confident or not, whether you are just making up a story or you really impressive, because your energy is the energy of your audience. Smile and please prepare your introduction speech. You're not going to say, I'm Abhilasha Gupta. No, I'm Abhilasha Gupta with a line of adjectives. Okay, so include people's view on what you are saying. Use stories. Okay, and please, you must never compare yourself. What you are, compare yourself with what you were, and that is called progress. So if you're not a brand, you're a commodity. Thank you very much. I'll be open to any questions if there are. And please give me a feedback, a genuine feedback, so that I can improve myself for my next sessions. Thank you very much. You have been a lovely audience. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Participants, you can ask your question. Please unmute yourself and you can talk to ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen. No questions? Thank you very much, everybody. It was very nice interacting with you. And like I said, you are my energy and I'm energized. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Rajni ma'am?
Yeah. So we will take a minute to felicitate Madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Ritu.
So ma'am, I will stop your screen share.
Sure.
And
Thank you, Deepak.
I think the audience, can you see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I can.
So Lata, you can please felicitate Abhilasha ma'am.
Ma'am, as usual, every participant must have liked your lecture, and it was very interactive as usual. And we are very thankful to you, ma'am. Please accept our felicitation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Lata ma'am. It's always a pleasure to come here at DIPSAR to have these sessions. Thank you very much for having me over. Thank you, Rajni ma'am.
Thank you. पर एक बारी से दिल ना भरे.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we need to have many more sessions with you.
Definitely. My pleasure.
Whether we improve or not is a different story, but of course we love to hear you and feel that there's always hope for us.
Ma'am, you are already there. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you. I will request the audience to hang on for a while and request Dr. Pandita to please join in and talk about the next upcoming session of QIP. Please, Pandita ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Lata ma'am, can you please talk about the upcoming quality improvement program?
Today we are going to complete our fourth day program. Our fifth day will be on Monday. Monday morning, we will be hearing Dr. Vel Pandian on biointelligence, artificial intelligence application in pharmaceutical research. And 12 to 1, pharmacochaperoning, helping misfolded proteins with pharmacological means by Dr. Sanjay Kasture. And that will be our eighth session.
No, actually, Lata ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I think Dr. Dipti Pandita, she wanted to talk about the 34th Quality Improvement Program. Is the screen shared?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
yes, it is.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So please talk about the 34th Quality Improvement Program.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Dipti ma'am.
Yeah, okay. It was previous. So thanks for sharing the brochure, Dr. Rajni. And I'm pleased to announce that 34th Quality Improvement Program in online mode with the theme of discovering the importance of pharmacy profession in COVID pandemic scenario. This is going to commence from 30th September till 8th October, and around 24 national and international speakers would be gathering on this platform, and they'll be speaking on the theme of the of this QIP. And you can download the brochures from DIPSAR's website. All the participants are required to send their filled registration form, which is provided at the end of the brochure. And we invite you all to participate in this upcoming 34th QIP. And the participants of 33rd QIP can share this information with their faculties and friends. And thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Rajni.
Okay, thank you so much. I think the participants can share it in their own on their own platforms, in universities, colleges, and amongst their own peers, and talk about this 34th upcoming program, which will be another good session and useful program. Thank you so much, audience, for your patient hearing and being with us here. We look forward to seeing you all on Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Till then, enjoy your weekend. Have a nice time. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.